Just about to debunk the myths and fake news surrounding COVID-19 or coronavirus, if you like. Kenya reported its fourth case today. Joining me in studio now is a medical doctor and certified public health specialist, Beatrice Kariuki. Dr. Beatrice Kariuki, thank you very much for joining us. Quickly, as a public health expert, let's look at the general, your general view of how things have been so far since we went on lockdown, since we announced confirmed our first case. Are we on the right track? Are there things, blind spots we've seen in terms of our response to this thing? Okay, I think let me give you a general thing of what are we looking for to answer that question. So as public health experts, we aim to do three things. The first thing is to understand the disease. Where is it? What is it? How much of it do we have? The second thing we aim to do is to act, and you can act in two ways. Either you're preventing the disease or you're treating the disease. Here we have prevention. We do have prevention measures, but we don't have any treatment measures. That's why you're seeing all this quarantine, isolation, etc. So yes, in terms of understanding the disease in Kenya, I think the government, the Ministry of Health, has really tried, and they have a system where you're collecting data as we go along, so that you know where is the disease, how much, and where. Then to prevent, acting in terms of prevention and acting in terms of treating. Here we're not treating, again, it's isolating and quarantine. I think they've also done a good job. So yes, we're hitting the right buttons. The question is, are we doing it with enough intensity from the government side? But remember, your health starts with you. You cannot rely on the government alone to prevent the disease or to keep you safe from this disease. You must do something as well. So then, looking at the public and how we've responded to this, the partial lockdown, some people are working from home, but we're still going to the market, we're still using public transport, we are still engaging in various aspects as a public. What advice do you have? Are there blind spots you've pinpointed where you think the public should really take keen interest in? Yeah, I think the blind spot for me, the biggest blind spot I see is that Kenyans don't take things seriously. How many people have you passed today who were using sanitizer and they're laughing as they do it? Or you ask them to wash their hands and they're laughing as they do it? Or getting into a matatu, your temperature is being taken as you walk into a place and someone is laughing as they do it. We as Kenyans need to take it seriously that yes, I still need to do some of the things I need to do, like go to the market if necessary, but I have to be responsible for my own personal hygiene there. Do I wash my hands when I get there? Do I insist that I'm not handling money, I'm going to pay with M-Pesa? Take some personal responsibility. I think that's where our failures will come from. People being just lax, taking it like it's the government that's going to do it for me. My child has come home with a cough. My child has a fever, but I don't do anything. I'm like, All right. Perhaps why we saw the cabinet secretary say, this is not a joke, this is not a rehearsal, we need to take it seriously. So to the myths and fake news surrounding, there's a lot of information on COVID-19, being a novel virus, everyone is trying to make sense of it. So what are some of the biggest myths that you think surround this virus that are very dangerous, especially for us? So I think, let me talk about three myths. First, this is a time where children are coming home from school. Schools are closing, people are traveling within this week, within this period. And a lot of misinformation has been there about children and whether or not they can contact the virus, right? And like I said, this disease, we've been understanding this disease as we go along. So it's not that we already had these facts. So initially, children were not seen to be contacting the disease, but now it's confirmed. Anybody is at risk. Everybody is at risk. The disease does not differentiate with age or place. Everybody is at risk. You may be 0 years, you've just seen a lady 1 or 3 years. Everybody is at risk. Everybody takes the measures. Some people are at a higher risk, the older people that we know, people with pre-existing medical conditions, people whose lungs have had issues, asthmatics, people who have, even smokers, those people are at a higher risk. But really, children, we must also protect our children. We can't just let them go and think, they're kids, they won't get the virus. So kids can, anyone can? Everybody is at risk. Okay. What else? Everybody. I think the second thing is about the social distancing and the contact with people.
So if you understand what the prevention strategy is, you're trying to reduce the number of people that you're in contact with every day, right? So if you reduce the number of people you're in contact with every day, then you're reducing how much risk you have or possibility of interacting with the virus. Let me give you an example. In your neighborhood or in your home, you have your family, right? But you have your neighbors coming in. You have people who deliver stuff to your house coming in. All those, count them as contacts. So do not take the view that I've heard many people saying, oh, you know, now that we're at home, we're okay. Yeah. Look at those contacts.
Let our guard down when we get to the
there
house.
are people coming in and out. And it's not just contact with people, there's also contact with surfaces and goods. For example, if you live in a residential area where they give tags to get into the gate, that's something else to think about. Where they deliver milk, where you go to the shop, a shop that's a common shop at the gate or nearby, and you're all handling money, the same money, it circulates amongst you guys, you know? That's a problem, yeah? Right. Your phones, those are all contacts. Is there contact with people or contact with surfaces that are contaminated?
Definitely something to think about. Finally, just before we head onto the break, the use of face masks, does it entirely protect you? And also, does it stop at washing hands? Is it enough, washing hands, sanitizers? So
while we're talking about washing hands and sanitizers, I think a key thing for people to understand is the disease is spread through droplets, and the droplets on you pick up on your hands, the droplets of that contain the infection, and then you can also breathe them in from somebody who has is already infected. Being in close contact with them for a long time, you'll pick it up. What do we use to touch? Our hands, right? So that's the biggest thing that's a carrier of the infection. You move, pick your hand, put it on your face. Yeah, move, touch something else, pick the same hand, move it. So your hand is the biggest transmitter. Like if you say, what is the one thing that's transmitted? It's your hand, right? And that's why the hand washing is so important. So that even if you have been exposed, you have come in contact with a contaminated surface, once you wash your hands, and it's washing properly with soap and water. Not how Kenyans, we wash hands quickly and you're moving on. Yes, you wash your hands properly. Face masks, the same thing. Not everybody is required to wear face masks unless you're sick or you're in contact looking after somebody who is sick or in a healthcare facility. And obviously there are different levels of face masks. But if we're talking about the common surgical mask that people are buying, that is really if you're sick. Why will you wear it? To avoid spreading your droplets of infection as you cough or sneeze to other people. Let me clarify, not sick that you have COVID-19, sick with other, you have the symptoms, but you have not been diagnosed. Yes.
Quickly, last one, before we end it, I believe we don't have so much time. There's a lot of information online. We are going to every other platform to get information on this. Where are some of the reliable sites where we can get, legit information surrounding the COVID-19? So and I think this has been a common behavior. We go to social media, Google, pick up things that are there and start using them. I think the most reliable sites, there is government of Kenya, the Ministry of Health has put out quite some reliable information. If you go to health.gov.ke and go in there and look under COVID-19, you will find a lot of information up to myths and debunking things that people believe. There's also on your phone, they have *719#, which you can also go to find correction of information quite immediately without having to think, oh, I need internet or I need whatever. Lastly, if you're looking for more information than what you find there is the WHO website, and in there is actually advice that's strictly for the public, not for medics, for the public. Well put, easy to consume. So please, let's not Google social media, your friend. Let's go to this
reliable sources of information.
Thank you very much, Dr. Beatrice Kariuki. Thank you for coming in. I'm sure this is a conversation we'll keep having. This is a situation that's very fluid and developing. Dr. Beatrice Kariuki is a medical doctor as well as certified public health specialist, just speaking to us about some of the myths around COVID-19. So we will continue to give you more information. I want us to quickly take a short break here on KTN Prime. We still have a lot more stories lined up for you, including just how do you isolate yourself and, of course, other stories on business and sports news.